The moment Cody found out wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No confrontation. No, we need to talk. Just a look. That quiet, knowing look that lands in your chest and refuses to leave. It happened on a random Tuesday afternoon. Nothing special about it. We were sitting in my car outside his place. The engine still running. Music low. Both of us half scrolling through our phones like we always did before saying goodbye. Cody grabbed my phone without asking. He did that sometimes. Always had. It was just part of how we were with each other. No boundaries, no awkwardness. At least, that's what I thought. Dude, you still haven't replied to Jake? He said, already unlocking it. Give it back. I muttered, not really paying attention. Then he went quiet. Not the usual kind of quiet where he's distracted or reading something dumb. This was different. Heavy. I looked over. His eyes were fixed on the screen. Not moving. Not blinking. And then slowly, he looked at me. Not confused. Not surprised. Just aware. You want to explain this? He asked. My stomach dropped before I even saw what he'd opened. Messages. Not even recent ones. Old ones. I must have scrolled too far last night and left it there. Conversations I never meant anyone else to see. Especially not him. I reached for the phone, but he pulled it back slightly, not aggressively, just enough to stop me. Adrian, he said, quieter now. Just tell me straight. There it was. The moment I'd avoided for years. With everyone, but especially with Cody. I don't know what you want me to say. I replied, my voice already tight. He studied me for a second longer, then looked back at the phone. You've been talking to guys, he said. Not a question. I didn't answer. Didn't need to. He exhaled slowly, like he was processing something bigger than the words themselves. And you never told me. That part stung more than anything else. Not because he was wrong, but because of how he said it. Not angry, just disappointed. We're not exactly the tell each other everything type, I said, trying to keep it light. But it came out defensive. Sharp. His jaw tightened. No, he said, because I thought we were. Silence filled the car. The kind that presses in on you from all sides. We've known each other for 5 years, Adrian, he went on. 5. And I had no idea about this. It's not a big deal, I muttered. That was a mistake. His eyes snapped back to mine. Not a big deal, he repeated. You've been hiding a whole part of your life from me. I wasn't hiding it, I said quickly. I just didn't think it mattered. That's bullshit. The word landed hard between us. I flinched. Cody ran a hand through his hair, frustrated now. You didn't think it mattered, he said again, shaking his head. Or you didn't trust me enough to tell me? I swallowed. Because the truth was, I didn't know which one it was. I just didn't want things to get weird, I admitted finally. That made him go still. Weird, he echoed. Yeah, I said, quieter now. Like this. Another silence. Longer this time. Then he handed my phone back. Carefully. Like it meant something different now. I'm not the one making it weird, he said. I gripped the phone, my fingers tighter than they needed to be. I didn't think you'd get it, I added, before I could stop myself. That did it. Something shifted in his expression. Not anger. Not even hurt. Something colder. You don't think I'd get it? He said slowly. I don't know, I replied. People change when they hear stuff like this. Cody let out a short laugh, but there was no humor in it. Yeah, he said. People do change. My chest tightened. That's not what I meant. No, he said, opening the car door. I think it is. He stepped out before I could say anything else. I sat there, frozen, watching him walk up to his building without looking back. And just like that, everything felt different. We didn't talk for 2 days, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for me and Cody, it was huge. We talked every day, even if it was just dumb memes or random voice notes. Silence wasn't part of our routine. Until now, I kept picking up my phone, typing something, then deleting it. What was I even supposed to say? Hey, sorry I hid a major part of myself from you for 5 years. Didn't exactly roll off the tongue. By the 3rd day, I couldn't take it anymore. I showed up at his place unannounced. He opened the door like he knew it was me. Didn't look surprised. Just tired. Hey, I said. Hey. Neither of us moved. You gonna let me in? I asked. He stepped aside without a word. His apartment felt the same, which somehow made it worse. I leaned against the counter while he stayed near the door, like he wasn't sure how close he was supposed to stand anymore. That's new, I said, trying to break the tension. What is? You acting like I'm a stranger. He crossed his arms. I don't know what you are right now. That hit harder than I expected. I'm the same person, I said. Are you? He asked. I frowned. Of course I am. Because it doesn't feel like it, he replied. I let out a breath, frustrated. It's not like I lied to you. You didn't tell me, he said. That's not the same, but it's not nothing either. I looked away. Why didn't you? He asked. There it was again. The question I didn't have a clean answer for. I just didn't want to deal with it, I admitted. With me, he pressed. With anyone. He studied me for a long moment. Then, quieter. You really thought I'd react badly? I hesitated. And that hesitation said everything. Cody nodded slowly. Wow, he muttered. That's not fair. I said quickly. You've never been in this situation before. And you didn't give me a chance to be, he shot back. Silence again. But this one felt different. Less explosive. More complicated. I'm not mad that you're into guys, he said after a moment. I looked up. I'm mad that you didn't trust me enough to tell me. That word again. Trust. It sat heavy between us. I didn't want to lose you, I said quietly. Cody's expression shifted. Just slightly. You thought telling me would make you lose me? He asked. I didn't know, I admitted. He stared at me like he was trying to figure something out. Something deeper than the words. Adrian, he said slowly. You already almost did. That landed. Hard. And for the first time since all of this started, I felt like I wasn't the only one affected. He didn't ask me to leave, but he didn't ask me to stay either. We ended up sitting on opposite ends of his couch, the space between us louder than anything we'd said so far. You know what the worst part is? Cody said eventually. What? He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. It's not even the fact that you kept this from me. I frowned. Then what is it? He glanced at me. It's that I keep wondering what else I don't know. That caught me off guard. There's nothing else, I said immediately. You sure? He asked. Yes. He held my gaze for a second longer, then nodded. Okay. But it didn't sound like he fully believed me. And that scared me more than anything else so far. Because this wasn't just about a secret anymore. It was about how he saw me. And I had no idea how to fix that. I stood up after a while. I should go, I said. Cody didn't stop me. But as I reached the door, he spoke again. Hey. I turned. He hesitated, then said, You could have just told me. Simple. Honest. Too late. Yeah, I replied quietly. I know. I left after that. And walking back to my car, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted in a way I didn't fully understand yet. Because Cody didn't just find out my secret. He reacted to it. And the way he looked at me, it wasn't rejection. It wasn't acceptance either. It was something in between. Something I couldn't read. Something that made me realize this wasn't over. Not even close. The next time I saw Cody, it wasn't planned, which somehow made it worse. I was at a small get-together at Jake's place, nothing big, just a few people, drinks, music low enough to actually talk. I almost didn't go, but staying home felt worse. I didn't expect Cody to be there, but of course he was. He was leaning against the kitchen counter when I walked in, laughing at something someone said. Same posture, same relaxed energy, like nothing had changed, except it had. The second his eyes met mine, the smile faded just slightly, but enough for me to notice. Adrian, he said. Hey. The room suddenly felt smaller. Too many people, too much noise, and somehow not enough air. You good? He asked like he always did. It sounded normal. Too normal. Yeah, I said automatically. Lie. He nodded, but I could tell he didn't buy it. Cool. That was it. No tension. No confrontation. Just distance. And somehow, that was worse than fighting. I tried to act normal. Talk to people. Laughed at jokes I barely heard. Kept my hands busy with a drink I didn't even want. But I kept noticing him. The way he moved around the room. The way he talked to everyone else like nothing was off. And the way he avoided being alone with me. That part was new. Cody had never avoided me. Not once in 5 years. Until now. At some point, I stepped out onto the balcony just to breathe. Cold air hit my face, grounding me a little. I leaned against the railing, closing my eyes for a second. You always disappear when things get uncomfortable. His voice. Behind me. I didn't turn right away. Still talking to me? I asked. Depends, he said. You still running? I exhaled slowly, then turned. He was standing in the doorway, hands in his pockets, watching me. Not angry. Not relaxed either. Just focused. I'm not running, I said. He raised an eyebrow. Really? I shrugged. I needed air. Convenient. I let that go. You've been avoiding me, I said instead. Have I? He replied. Yes. He stepped out onto the balcony, closing the door behind him. No, he said. I've been giving you space. That's not the same thing. It kind of is, he said. We stood there, facing each other, the city noise humming in the background. I didn't ask for space, I said. No, Cody replied. You just built a whole wall instead. That hit. I looked away. Why are you making this bigger than it is? I muttered. His expression hardened slightly. Because it is big, Adrian. It's just. Don't, he cut me off. Don't say it's just like it doesn't matter. It matters. I clenched my jaw. It doesn't change anything, I said. He stared at me like I'd just said something stupid. It changes how I see you, he said. That made my chest tighten. In a bad way? I asked before I could stop myself. Cody hesitated. And that hesitation? It was everything. Not bad, he said finally. Then what? He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated again. I don't know yet, he admitted. That honesty hit harder than any rejection could have. We went quiet again. But this silence wasn't empty. It was full of things neither of us knew how to say. You really thought I'd react like this? He asked after a moment. Like what? I replied. Like I'd suddenly treat you differently. I let out a dry laugh. You are treating me differently. He shook his head. No, he said. I'm reacting to you treating me differently first. I frowned. What does that mean? It means, he said, stepping closer. You decided who I was going to be before I even got the chance. I didn't have an answer for that. Because he wasn't wrong. I just didn't want to risk it, I said quietly. Risk what? Losing you. That landed between us again. Heavy. Real. Cody looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, softer this time. You don't get to decide that for me. My chest tightened. I know, I admitted. And yet you did. Yeah. Silence. Then. You're still doing it. I looked up. What? Shutting down, he said. Keeping things surface level so you don't have to actually deal with it. I'm standing here, aren't I? I shot back. Barely, he replied. That stung. More than I expected. Okay, I said, stepping closer now. What do you want from me? He blinked. Right now, he asked. Yes. Cody held my gaze. And for the first time since all of this started, I saw something different in his eyes. Not confusion. Not frustration. Something deeper. I want you to stop acting like I'm going to disappear just because I know this about you, he said. I swallowed. I don't think that. Yeah, you do, he replied. You just don't want to admit it. I opened my mouth to argue, then stopped. Because again, he wasn't wrong. I just don't know where this puts us, I said instead. There it was. The real problem. Cody exhaled slowly. Why does it have to put us anywhere? He asked. Because things are different now. Only if you make them different. That's not how this works, I said. Then how does it work? He challenged. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. He shook his head slightly. You're overthinking this, he said. Of course I am, I snapped. You found out something big about me. And he asked. And I don't know how you see me now. That was it. That was the core of it. Cody went quiet. Then, slowly. I see you, he said. I frowned. What does that even mean? It means, he stepped even closer now, you're still Adrian. Same guy I've known for 5 years. Then why does it feel like everything changed? He held my gaze. Because you're acting like it did. That stopped me. Completely. The noise from inside the apartment faded into the background. It felt like it was just us now. Again. Like before. But not quite the same. Say something, Cody said. I don't know what to say. Try, he replied. I hesitated. Then, are you uncomfortable? I asked. There. Out loud. Cody didn't look away. No, he said. Not at all. No. You're sure? Yes. I searched his face for any sign of hesitation. There wasn't any. And that confused me even more. Then why does it feel like you're pulling away? I asked. Cody's expression shifted slightly. Because I'm trying not to push you, he said. That caught me off guard. What? You're the one who's been guarded, he explained. I figured if I came at you the same way as before, you'd just shut down more. I blinked. I'm not. You are, he said simply. And again, he was right. We stood there, closer now than we had been all night. Close enough that I could see every small shift in his expression. Close enough that the tension between us felt different. Not just awkward. Not just unresolved. Something else. Something I didn't fully understand yet. You really don't care? I asked quietly. About what? This. He tilted his head slightly. Why would I? I hesitated. Because it's me. That sounded stupid the second I said it. But Cody didn't laugh. Instead, he stepped even closer. Now there was barely any space between us. I care about you, he said. My breath caught. Not about that, he added. And for some reason, that hit harder than anything else he'd said so far. Then why do you keep looking at me like that? I asked before I could stop myself. His brows pulled together slightly. Like what? Like you're trying to figure something out. He didn't answer right away. And that silence? It felt different this time. He looked at me, really looked. Then said, maybe I am. My chest tightened. What does that mean? Cody exhaled slowly. I don't know yet, he admitted. That word again. Yet. And something about it made my pulse pick up. Cody. Yeah. What are you thinking? He hesitated, then shook his head slightly. Not ready to say that out loud. That didn't help. At all. Why not? Because I'm still figuring it out, he said. I let out a frustrated breath. You're killing me right now. He almost smiled at that. Almost. Good, he said quietly. And something about the way he said it. It didn't feel like a joke. We stood there for a second longer. Then someone opened the balcony door behind us, breaking the moment completely. Yo, you guys hiding out here? Jake asked. Cody stepped back immediately. Space. Distance. Like it never happened. Just talking, he said casually. I nodded, trying to act normal again. But my heart was still racing. The rest of the night felt off. Not bad. Just different. Because now I knew something had shifted. Not just between us as friends. Something deeper. Something neither of us had fully said yet. But it was there. I could feel it. And judging by the way Cody kept glancing at me when he thought I wasn't looking, he felt it too. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, one thought wouldn't leave my head. Cody didn't just find out my secret. He reacted to it. And whatever he was figuring out, it had something to do with me. And that scared me way more than being exposed ever did. After that night, things didn't go back to normal. They couldn't. Something had shifted on that balcony, and even though neither of us said it out loud, we both felt it. And that made everything complicated. Cody started texting me again. Not like before. Not memes. Not random nonsense. Real messages. You home? You ate today? We need to talk. Not in a bad way. That last one sat on my screen for a full minute before I replied. About what? His answer came fast. You already know. Yeah, I did. We met the next evening. Same place we always met, his apartment. But walking in this time felt different. Like I wasn't just stepping into a familiar space. I was stepping into something unknown. Cody was already there, sitting on the couch, elbows on his knees, like he'd been waiting. Hey, I said. Hey. No small talk. No easing into it. Just straight into the tension. I dropped my keys on the counter, trying to act normal. Didn't work. You gonna stand there all night? He asked. I exhaled and walked over, sitting down, but not too close. That space again. Always that space. Cody noticed. Of course he did. You always do that now, he said. Do what? Sit like I'm gonna bite you. I frowned. I'm not. You are, he cut in. You've been doing it since I found out. I looked away. Because yeah, I had. I don't know how I'm supposed to act, I admitted. Why does it have to change, he asked. Because you know now. So, he said. So it's different. For you, he replied. That hit. You're telling me nothing changed for you? I asked. Cody leaned back, studying me. Something changed, he said. My chest tightened instantly. Like what? He didn't answer right away. Just looked at me. Too long. Too intense. Then, I started noticing things. My pulse picked up. What things? Another pause. And then, quietly. You. That wasn't what I expected. At what point did you not notice me? I tried to joke. He didn't smile. That's not what I meant. I swallowed. I know. Silence. Heavy. What does that even mean? I asked finally. Cody leaned forward again, resting his forearms on his knees. It means I keep replaying stuff in my head, he said. Things I didn't think about before. Like what? Like how close we are. We've always been close. Yeah, he said. But now I'm asking myself why. That made my stomach twist. Why what? I asked carefully. Why it feels different now, he said. It doesn't, I replied too quickly. Cody's eyes snapped to mine. Don't do that. Do what? Shut it down before we even get there. I clenched my jaw. I'm not shutting anything down. You are, he said. You're scared of where this conversation goes. I let out a breath. Can you blame me? He didn't answer. Because yeah, I was scared. Not of him knowing. Not anymore. But of this. Whatever this was turning into. What are you trying to say, Cody? I asked. There it was. Direct. No avoiding it now. He looked at me for a long moment. Then said, I don't think this is just about your secret. My chest tightened. Then what is it about? He hesitated. And for the first time since all of this started, Cody looked unsure. I think, he said slowly, I'm reacting to more than just the fact that you're into guys. My heart started pounding. Okay, I said carefully. He exhaled, because it made me think about things I didn't question before. Like what? His jaw tightened slightly. Then, like why I care so much. That landed hard. You care because I'm your friend? I said quickly. Yeah, he said. That's what I told myself too. Something about the way he said that made my chest tighten. What does that mean? I asked. It means, he said, looking straight at me now. I'm not sure that's the only reason. Silence. Loud. Overwhelming. I stared at him, trying to process what he just said. You're not serious, I muttered. Cody didn't laugh. Didn't look away. I am. No, I said, shaking my head slightly. You're just overthinking it. Am I? He asked. Yes. Then why does it feel like this? He pressed. I don't know, I snapped. Because everything's been weird lately. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. He leaned back, frustrated now. You're doing it again, he said. What? Running. I'm sitting right here. Physically, he said. Not mentally. That hit. Again. I don't know what you want from me, I said. I want you to be honest, he replied. I am. No, you're not. I frowned. What are you talking about? He leaned forward again. Tell me you haven't felt it too. My heart stopped. What? That something's off, he said. Different. I hesitated. And that hesitation? It said everything. Cody nodded slowly. Yeah, he muttered. That's what I thought. I ran a hand through my hair, frustrated. This is a bad idea, I said. What is? This conversation. Why? Because it's going nowhere good. He let out a quiet laugh. Or it's going somewhere you don't want it to go. I didn't answer. Because that was exactly the problem. You're seriously telling me you haven't thought about it? He asked. Thought about what? Us. That word hit like a punch. There is no us, I said immediately. Too fast. Too sharp. Cody's expression changed. Not hurt. Not surprised. Just understanding. Like he expected that answer. Right, he said quietly. And somehow, that felt worse than if he'd argued. Cody, it's fine, he cut me off. No, it's not, I said. He stood up. It is, he said. I get it. That's not what I meant. Yeah, he replied. It is. I stood up too. Stop doing that. Doing what? Acting like you understand when you don't. He looked at me. Really looked. Then explain it to me. I opened my mouth. Then closed it. Because I didn't have a clean explanation. I don't want to mess this up, I said finally. Cody's expression softened slightly. You think this is messing it up? He asked. I think this, I gestured between us, is dangerous. Why? Because if you're wrong, and if I'm not, he cut in. That stopped me. Completely. We were standing close now. Closer than before. And the tension? It wasn't just emotional anymore. It was something else. Something heavier. You don't even know what you're saying, I muttered. Cody stepped closer. I know exactly what I'm saying. Then say it, I challenged. Big mistake. Because this time, he didn't hesitate. I think about you differently now, he said. My chest tightened. How? His voice dropped slightly. Like I shouldn't. Silence. Again. But this time, it felt like everything was about to shift. For real. Cody. Yeah. This is a mistake. Maybe, he said. But. He held my gaze. But I don't think it is. My heart was racing. Too fast. Too loud. This doesn't make sense, I said. Does it have to? Yes. Why? Because this changes everything. He stepped even closer. Now there was barely any space left between us. Maybe everything was already changing, he said quietly. I couldn't breathe properly. Couldn't think straight. All I knew was, this wasn't just about my secret anymore. Not even close. You need to figure out what you actually feel, I said. Cody nodded slightly. I am. And he looked at me. Not unsure anymore. Not confused. Something else. Something clearer. I think I already know, he said. My chest tightened. Know what? He didn't answer. Not right away. Just held my gaze. Like he was waiting for something. Or maybe, for me. And for some reason, I didn't move. I should have stepped back. That would have been the smart move. Say something neutral. Change the subject. Create distance. Go back to being us before everything got complicated. But I didn't. I just stood there, looking at him. And for the first time in 5 years, I didn't know where the line between us was anymore. Say it, I said quietly. Cody didn't move. Didn't look away. You really want me to? He asked. No, I admitted. But I swallowed. But I think you're going to anyway. That almost made him smile. Almost. I think about you, he said slowly, in a way I never did before. My chest tightened. That doesn't mean anything, I replied quickly. It does to me. You're confused. Maybe, he said, but that doesn't make it fake. I ran a hand through my hair, pacing a step away from him. This is happening because you found out about me, I said. That's it. It's messing with your head. Or, he countered, it just made me notice something that was already there. I shook my head. No, that's not how this works. Then how does it work? He asked. I don't know, I snapped. But not like this. Silence hit again. But now it felt sharper. Like we were both pushing against something neither of us fully understood. You really don't feel anything? He asked. That question, it landed deeper than everything else. Because it wasn't just about him anymore. It was about me. And I didn't answer. Cody noticed. Of course he did. Yeah, he said quietly. That's what I thought. I looked up. What's that supposed to mean? It means, he said, stepping closer again, you're not as unaffected as you're pretending to be. I am. You're not. I am, I insisted. He held my gaze and didn't budge. Then look me in the eye, he said, and tell me this doesn't feel different. My chest tightened. I forced myself to hold his gaze. Say it. Just say it. End this. Nothing's different, I said. The words came out steady. Too steady. Cody nodded slowly. Okay. That was it. Just okay. And for some reason, that bothered me more than anything else. You don't believe me, I said. He shrugged slightly. Does it matter? Yes, I snapped. Why? He asked. Because you're acting like you know something I don't. Maybe I do. That hit hard. What do you think you know? I asked. He stepped closer again, close enough that I could feel the shift in the air between us. I think, he said quietly, you're scared of what this could mean. I clenched my jaw. I'm not scared. You are. I'm not. You are, he repeated. Just not of me. That stopped me. Then what am I scared of? I asked. Cody didn't answer right away. He studied me for a second. Then, that this isn't one-sided. My heart stuttered. Just for a second. But it was enough. That's not, I started. Don't, he cut me off. Don't lie to me again. The word again hit harder this time. Because now it wasn't just about the secret. I'm not lying, I said. Then prove it. How? Stop deflecting, he said. Stop acting like this is all in my head. I exhaled sharply. This is insane. Is it? Yes. Then why are you still here? He asked. That question. It landed exactly where it needed to. Because he was right. I could have left. I almost did earlier. But I didn't. I don't know, I admitted. And that was the first real truth I'd said since this started. Cody's expression softened slightly. Yeah, he said quietly. I figured. We were standing too close now. Again. And neither of us moved. This is going to mess everything up, I said. Or it's going to show us what's already there, he replied. You don't know that. Neither do you. Silence. Heavy. Loaded. Say it again, he said. What? That nothing's different. I hesitated. Just for a second. But that was enough. Cody let out a quiet breath. Yeah, he murmured. That's what I thought. I hate that you're doing this, I said. Doing what? Pushing it. I'm not pushing, he said. I'm asking. That's the same thing. It's not, he replied. You just don't like the question. I looked away. Because he was right. Again. Why now? I asked. Why what? Why are you thinking about this now? He didn't hesitate this time. Because now I know you're not off limits. That hit differently. I was never off limits, I said. You were, he replied. In my head. I frowned. That doesn't make sense. It does to me, he said. I just didn't let myself go there before. And now you are. Yeah. I ran a hand over my face. This is a bad idea. You keep saying that. Because it is. Or because it's real, he said. I didn't answer. Because something in me didn't want to. You feel it, he said quietly. I shook my head. No. You do. No. Adrian. Stop, I said. But my voice didn't have the same weight anymore. Look at me, he said. I didn't want to. But I did. And the second our eyes locked, everything got worse. Because now there was no space left. No pretending. No distractions. Just him. And me. And whatever this was. You don't have to say it, he said. My breath hitched slightly. Then why are we doing this? I asked. Because I think you already know, he replied. I did. That was the problem. You're my best friend, I said. I know. That should be enough. Maybe it was, he said. Was. That word echoed. Loud. Cody. Yeah. This doesn't end well. He held my gaze. Then why does it feel right? I didn't have an answer for that. And that scared me more than anything else. Because for the first time, I wasn't just worried about losing him. I was worried about what happens if I don't. I didn't leave. That was the first mistake. Or maybe it wasn't a mistake at all. Maybe it was the moment everything became unavoidable. We were still standing there. Too close. Too aware. Like the air between us had changed and neither of us knew how to reset it. Say something, Cody said quietly. I already did. Not really. I exhaled, frustrated. What do you want from me? The truth. That is the truth. No, he said. That's the safe version of it. I looked away. Because he was right. Again. You think I don't see it? He went on. See what? The way you're reacting. I'm reacting normally. He let out a quiet breath. Adrian. Nothing about this is normal. Silence. Then. Fine, I said. His eyes snapped back to mine. Fine, he repeated. You want the truth? I asked. Yes. I hesitated. Just for a second. Then. It feels different. There it was. Out loud. No taking it back. Cody didn't move. Didn't say anything. But something in his expression shifted. Like he'd been waiting for that. Different how, he asked. I let out a breath. I don't know, I admitted. That's the problem. Try, he said. I shook my head. This is already too much. Adrian. I said it feels different, okay? I snapped. What else do you want? He stepped closer. Slowly. Carefully. Like he didn't want to push too hard. But wasn't backing off either. I want to know if it's just me, he said. My chest tightened. It's not. The words came out before I could stop them. That did it. Cody exhaled slowly. And for the first time since all of this started. He looked certain. Okay, he said quietly. That's all I needed. Needed for what? I asked. He didn't answer right away. Just held my gaze. Then, to stop pretending, my heart started pounding. Too fast. Too loud. Cody. Yeah. This is where we stop. He tilted his head slightly. Is it? Yes. Why? Because if we don't, we're not going back. That landed. He knew it. I knew it. And you want to go back? He asked. I opened my mouth. Then stopped. Because I didn't have a clean answer. Cody noticed. Of course he did. Yeah, he murmured. That's what I thought. I just don't want to lose what we have, I said. You're not losing it, he replied. I might. Or you might be gaining something else. That's not how this works, I said. Then how does it work? He challenged. I didn't answer. Because again, I didn't know. You keep acting like this is going to destroy everything, he said. It could. Or it could be the reason everything finally makes sense. That hit differently. What does that even mean? I asked. He stepped closer. Now there was barely any space between us again. It means, he said quietly, I can't unsee this now. My chest tightened. Unsee what? You, he said. That word again. But this time, it felt heavier. You've always seen me, I said. Not like this. Like what? He hesitated. Then, like someone I want. Everything stopped. Cody. I know, he said quickly. I know how that sounds. Do you? Yes. Then you know this is a bad idea. Or it's the most honest thing I've said in a long time. I ran a hand over my face, pacing a step away. I can't do this. Can't or won't, he asked. Both. Why? Because you're my best friend. And that should be enough. He was quiet for a second. Then, what if it's not? That question hit deeper than anything else. It has to be, I said. Why? Because if it's not, everything changes. Maybe it's supposed to. I shook my head. This is happening too fast. It's been 5 years, he said. Not like this. Maybe it always was like this, he replied. We just didn't see it. I stopped pacing. Looked at him. Really looked. Tell me this isn't just because you found out about me. I said. He didn't hesitate. It's not. You're sure? Yes. How can you be sure? Because this doesn't feel new, he said. It feels recognized. That word stuck. Recognized. I repeated. Yeah, he said. Like something I ignored until I couldn't anymore. My chest tightened again. You're messing with my head, I muttered. I'm being honest. That's worse. He almost smiled. Almost. You're still here, he said. I looked at him. Yeah. Why? That question again. I don't know, I admitted. And that was the truth. Cody stepped closer. Slow. Careful. You do know, he said quietly. You just don't want to say it. My heart was racing. Say it then, I challenged. Big mistake. Again. Because this time, he didn't hesitate. You don't want this to stop either. Silence. And the worst part? I didn't argue. I didn't argue. That was the moment everything shifted for real. Because up until now, I'd had something to hide behind. Denial. Deflection. This is a bad idea. But now I had nothing. Cody noticed immediately. Of course he did. You see, he said quietly. I exhaled slowly, running a hand through my hair. Don't, I muttered. Don't what? Don't act like you figured this all out. I haven't, he said. But I know that wasn't nothing. It doesn't have to be something, I replied. He stepped closer again. Everything that's happening right now says otherwise. I looked at him. Really looked. And for the first time, I wasn't just seeing my best friend. I was seeing something else. Something I didn't know how to name. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid, I said quietly. Why, he asked. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. He held my gaze. Yeah, he said. I know. Silence. But it wasn't empty anymore. It was full. Too full. We can still stop this, I said. Can we? He asked. Yes. You sure about that? I hesitated. Just for a second. But that was enough. Cody nodded slightly. Yeah, he murmured. That's what I thought. I stepped back, creating space. Finally. I mean it, I said. We stop here. We go back. To what? To normal. He tilted his head. What even is normal now? I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. You think you can just forget this conversation? He asked. Yes. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, he said. You can pretend. That's different. That hit. Because he was right. Again. I don't want to lose you, I said. My voice was quieter now. More honest. Cody's expression softened. You're not going to lose me. You don't know that. I do. How? Because I'm still here, he said. That landed deeper than anything else. You might not be, I said. Why wouldn't I be? Because this could mess everything up. Or it could make everything clearer. I shook my head. You keep saying that. Because you keep fighting it. I'm not fighting anything. You are, he said. You're fighting what you feel. I don't know what I feel. I snapped. Then figure it out. It's not that simple. It could be, he said. If you stopped overthinking it. I let out a frustrated breath. You're acting like this is easy. I'm not saying it's easy, he replied. I'm saying it's real. That word again. Real. And what if it's a mistake? I asked. Then we deal with it. And if it ruins everything? He didn't hesitate. Then at least we didn't lie to ourselves. That shut me up. Completely. Because part of me knew. He was right. You really believe that? I asked quietly. Yeah, he said. Even if it changes everything? Especially if it does. Silence. Heavy. You're not scared? I asked. He smiled slightly. Of course I am. Then why are you pushing this? I'm not pushing, he said. I'm choosing not to ignore it. That hit. Hard. I've spent the last few days trying to convince myself this is nothing, he went on. And it didn't work. My chest tightened. What exactly are you feeling? I asked. He looked at me. Really looked. Like I don't want to go back to how things were, he said. That scared me more than anything else. Why? I asked. Because now I know there's more, he replied. More what? He hesitated. Then, more than just friendship. There it was. Fully said. No room to pretend anymore. Cody. Yeah. This is real life. I know. This isn't something we can just test and undo. I know. Then why does it feel like you're not taking that seriously? I asked. He stepped closer again. Slow. Careful. I am taking it seriously, he said quietly. That's why I'm not ignoring it. My heart was racing again. You're asking me to risk everything, I said. I'm asking you to be honest, he replied. That's not the same thing. It is, he said. Because the truth always comes with risk. That hit deeper than I wanted it to. You're really okay with this? I asked. With us not being just friends anymore? He didn't hesitate. Yes. I stared at him, trying to understand how he got there so fast. You've thought about this a lot, I said. Yeah. And you're sure? I'm sure I don't want to pretend this isn't happening. Silence again. What if I'm not there yet? I asked. Cody's expression softened. Then I wait. That caught me off guard. You do that? I asked. Yeah. Why? He looked at me like the answer was obvious. Because it's you. That landed. Harder than anything else. And suddenly, this didn't feel like pressure anymore. It felt like something else. Something steadier. I don't know how to do this, I admitted. You don't have to, he said. We figure it out. Together? Yeah. I exhaled slowly. This is still a bad idea, I muttered. Cody smiled slightly. Probably. And you still want to do it? Yeah. Silence. Then, okay, I said. The second it left my mouth, everything changed. Cody didn't react right away. Just looked at me. Like he was making sure he heard it right. Okay, he repeated. Yeah. My heart was racing. But I didn't take it back. We don't rush anything, I added quickly. We don't mess this up. We don't. I know, he said softly. And for the first time since all of this started, he didn't push. He just stepped closer. Slow. Careful. Okay, he said again. And somehow, that felt bigger than everything else. Because this wasn't just about my secret anymore. It wasn't just about him figuring things out. It was about us choosing to step into something unknown. Together. And that was terrifying. But for the first time, it didn't feel wrong. Saying, okay, felt bigger than it should have. It wasn't dramatic. No big moment. No instant shift. Just one word. But it changed everything. We didn't suddenly become something else overnight. That's not how it worked. If anything, the next few days were careful. Like we were both hyper-aware of every little thing. Every look. Every word. Every second we were in the same space. You're thinking too much again. Cody's voice pulled me out of it. We were in his kitchen, standing way too close for no real reason, both pretending to be focused on making coffee. I'm not, I said. You are, he replied. I can literally see it on your face. I exhaled. Can you blame me? He shook his head slightly. No, he admitted. But it's not as complicated as you're making it. It is to me. That was the difference. Cody felt steady, certain, even if he didn't have all the answers. Me? I felt like I was walking on something that could break at any second. We said we wouldn't rush. I reminded him. We're not rushing. This feels like rushing. He leaned against the counter, watching me. Nothing's actually happened yet, he said. That was true. And somehow not. Everything's happening, I muttered. He almost smiled. Yeah, he said. It is. Silence settled between us again. But it wasn't tense anymore. Just full. You okay? He asked after a moment. I nodded. Yeah. Lie. He stepped a little closer. Adrian. What? You don't have to pretend with me. That hit. I'm not pretending, I said. You are, he replied softly. You're acting like you're about to lose something instead of gain it. I might lose it, I said. You won't. You don't know that. I do, he said. I looked at him. You're really that sure? Yes. How? Because I'm not going anywhere. That word again. Staying. It grounded something in me I didn't realize was still unstable. You say that now, I said. I mean it. I know you do. Then trust it. That was the hard part. Trust. I'm trying, I admitted. That's enough, he said. We stood there for a second longer. Then, come here, he said. I hesitated. Just for a second. See, he added. Overthinking. I'm not overthinking, I said. You paused. That's normal. He smiled slightly. Not for us. That was true. Before all of this, there were no pauses. No hesitation. No second guessing. Now, everything felt intentional. I stepped closer. Slowly. Not because I didn't want to, but because I wanted to understand what I was stepping into. Cody didn't move. Didn't rush. Just waited. That's new, he said quietly. What is? You taking your time. I let out a breath. Everything's new. He nodded slightly. Yeah. We were close now. Close enough that I could feel the shift again. That same tension, but softer this time. Less chaotic. This still feels unreal, I admitted. Good unreal or bad unreal? I don't know yet. He smiled a little. Fair. Silence. Then, you still want this? He asked. I met his eyes. Yeah. That answer felt clearer than before. Less forced. More real. Good, he said quietly. We didn't rush anything. Didn't push it further than it needed to go. That wasn't what this was about. It was about being there. Choosing it. Without pretending. Later that night, we ended up on the couch. Same spot we'd sat in 100 times before. But this time, everything felt different. You're quiet, he said. Just thinking. About. Us. He didn't joke. Didn't deflect. Just nodded. Yeah, he said. Me too. I leaned back slightly, staring at the ceiling. This could go really wrong, I said. Or really right. You always say that. Because it's true. I turned my head to look at him. You're not even a little worried? He thought about it. Then, I am, he admitted. But not enough to walk away. That stayed with me. Why? I asked. He looked at me. And this time, there was no hesitation. Because I don't want a version of my life where I ignored this. That hit. Deep. Even if it changes everything? I asked. He nodded. Yeah. Silence. Then, I don't think I could go back either, I admitted. There it was. Fully real now. Cody's expression softened. Yeah, he said quietly. I know. And for the first time since this all started, I wasn't scared of that. Because this didn't feel like losing something anymore. It felt like stepping into something new. Something uncertain. But also, something right. We didn't define it that night. Didn't put labels on it. Didn't try to figure out what came next. We just stayed there, side by side, not pretending anymore. And somehow, that was enough. Things didn't explode. They didn't fall apart. There was no dramatic moment where everything suddenly became clear. Instead, it settled. Over the next few weeks, what we had didn't feel fragile anymore. It felt real, not rushed, not forced. Just something that kept showing up, day after day, without either of us needing to question it every 5 minutes. It was in small things. Cody texting me first thing in the morning not because something was wrong, but because he wanted to. Me showing up at his place without overthinking it. The way conversations didn't feel like walking on glass anymore. You're different, he said one night. We were sitting on the floor, backs against his couch, halfway through a movie we weren't really watching. How? I asked. Calmer, he said. Less like you're waiting for something to go wrong. I thought about that. He wasn't wrong. I think I was, I admitted. Waiting for what? For this to fall apart. He turned his head slightly, looking at me. And now? I shrugged. Now it doesn't feel like it will. That wasn't something I thought I'd say. Not about this. Not about him. Cody smiled slightly. Told you. Don't start, I muttered. He laughed under his breath. But the truth was, he had been right. Not about everything, but about the one thing that mattered most. We didn't lose anything. We didn't break what we had. We built on it. One evening, we ended up back in my car. Same spot as before. Same music, low in the background. Same quiet. Funny, Cody said. What? This is where everything went wrong. I glanced at him. Or where it started. He smiled. Yeah, that too. I leaned back in my seat, looking out the windshield. You know what the worst part was? I said. What? I really thought telling you would be the thing that made me lose you. Cody didn't answer right away. Then, you almost did, he said. That made me look at him. Not because of what you told me, he added, but because you didn't trust me with it. That landed, but it didn't hurt the same way it did before. Now it just felt true. I know, I said. And I'm sorry. He nodded slightly. I know. Silence. But a good kind. You're not getting rid of me that easily, you know, he added after a moment. I let out a quiet laugh. Good. He glanced at me. Good. Yeah, I said. Because I don't want you to go anywhere. That felt simple, but it wasn't. Because a few weeks ago, I wasn't even sure we'd still be here. Cody leaned his head back, staring at the ceiling of the car. Crazy how one thing can change everything, he said. I shook my head slightly. I don't think it changed everything. He glanced at me. No, I said. I think it just made us stop pretending. He was quiet for a second. Then, yeah, he said. That sounds right. We sat there for a while. No rush. No pressure. Just us. You ever regret not telling me sooner? He asked. I thought about it. Honestly. Yeah, I said. Because we could have figured this out earlier. Cody smirked slightly. Or we would have messed it up earlier. Also possible. We both laughed quietly. Then, I don't regret it anymore, I added. He looked at me. Why not? I met his eyes. Because we're here now. That was enough. More than enough. We didn't need a big moment to define it. Didn't need labels or some dramatic confirmation. Because the truth was simple. Cody found out my secret. And instead of it breaking us, it showed us something we never would have seen otherwise. Not because it changed who we were, but because it made us finally be honest about it. And in the end, that mattered more than anything I was afraid of losing. Because I didn't lose him. I just stopped hiding from him.